Hello, hello, folks. It is just gone 2 p.m. on the 3rd of June, 2024. In exactly a week from now, we will be celebrating a very special day for the channel. I am currently sat with a plate of brunost in one hand and a nice mug of tea in the other. Brunost being a nice funky Norwegian cheese that you have with bread and jam. I will put that on the screen now. Doesn't it look yummy? But yeah, no, the 10th of June will be the day that 2 years ago from then, I uploaded the first 3 videos to this channel. That being the Occitania one, the original Celts video, the England in beta pilot, and of course, the subject of this and why you're all here, the British Metropolis that you have never heard of. My big 18-minute thought piece documentary on my home city that I worked very, very, very hard on. And some of you seem to like it, despite its showing its age. And so I thought a nice way of commemorating this lovely video would be a nice retrospective, so to speak. This is going to be completely unscripted. I have no idea what I'm going to say about this. I've briefly watched it in the past few months. I think I was just going over, like, things to see what I could do better. But, I don't remember everything from this video. Of course, I read and watch and listen to a lot of things. A lot of things go through my brain. A lot of things leave my brain. Most things leave. More things leave than enter. So if I hadn't watched it, you know, in the last couple of months, I'd probably be going in about as blind as a lot of you. But I'm sure that when I watch through, you know, it's all going to come flooding back to me. And so I want to use this opportunity to go through, you know, some of the references you might have missed, some of the production, some of the behind the scenes stuff, some of the background to making this. Because this was the first attempt I did to properly make something like this. I was going in completely sort of on my own, really. I had a script, I had an idea, I had a plan, I had an art style, and I had basic editing skills. And that was all I needed, apparently. So let's remove this multicolored Skyline background and begin on the British Metropolis that you have never heard of.
When you think of English cities, as in the big famous...
Oh god, do I sound like that? Do I? Oh no, that was the first video. That was before I knew how to speak. That was before I'd sort of... Well, yeah, I say knew how to speak. I've always known how to... Well, I learned how to speak at 8 months, apparently, after birth. But I didn't know how to speak publicly. I've always had a very middling register, like in my voice. I don't know, I need a good comparison. I'm like if the self-checkout at most British supermarkets was a person. The unexpected item in bagging area kind of voice. Yeah, that's me. That's just what I sound like. But because I don't know how to talk, I'm super awkward in this. I sound like I'm like half a register down. I sound like a 13-year-old boy trying to sound authoritative. I'm so glad. I am so happy with myself that I actually learned how to talk to an audience by the British accent video, I think. I think that's the earliest one where I sound decent. But, you know, whatever the case, I'm gonna have to suffer through 18 minutes of my voice. Oh,
English city.
I'm so sorry.
There's a lot. Liverpool is a closer one, but
I should probably talk about the little U homunculus actually. You know, this little fella. I came up with him on the fly for the little channel intro that is currently enlisted because again I just don't like how I sound, and also I want to make an updated one in the future. You know, they're a general sort of homunculus representing you. You as in the collective audience, you know, not you personally. You, well, no, you personally as well. That is anyone who has ever watched an Embur video. You are all collectively a little blue homunculus in a little hat. Whether that hat be a little top hat in the summer or a ushanka in the winter. That's you. And that'll always be you.
with a head count of a little under 1 million.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
It's Leeds. So wrong. It's a lot closer though. It's Leeds.
The background.
With a head.
That background that you might recognise from, I swear, half the videos on this channel these days. You know, it's even the one in the background here. That is a photo of Leeds taken from, I believe, Beeston Hill in the southwest of the city. I got that off of Flickr because you can use Flickr images without. They're all fair use. Like, you can upload them to Wikipedia with no sweat. Like, I traced over that and used that as a background for the video. Originally, of course, it was blue because that's, you know, the main colour of Leeds. Leeds is, you know, blue, white, yellow. But over time, you know, to reflect the channel, it became purple and became just sort of a default background for the channel. It's not a bad one, I don't think. I think it, you know, the Leeds identity has bled into this channel in a lot of ways that I certainly don't mind.
Can't join me on this run.
That, the little Embur, the little Embur homunculus thing, creature. That is a genuine, at least, well, this design, you know, like, is a genuine approximation of me. That is, at least to a degree, kind of what I look like. I have that exact coat. Of course, you know, later down the line, I would gain the little white collar to go with it. You know, it wouldn't just be me wearing a coat with nothing underneath. I own the coat. I wear glasses. I have pretty unkempt, pretty woolen hair. My hair is very much like wool. I am a sheep.
I've never heard of.
I love this thumbnail. Genuinely, this thumbnail is still my favourite for the whole channel. Before I had a grasp on what music to use,
Represented vexillogically by 3
I used the default Kevin MacLeod music.
Leodensian.
Right, actually, the original name of the channel was Leodensian. Like, I got a question. I have a few questions actually that I will answer down the line. One of them was from, a lot of them were from acclaimed channel guardian angel and YouTuber of repute, you know, call me Ezekiel, who asked me, you know, did I ever have any other attempts with YouTube content? I'm gonna put the actual proper question up on screen right now because I'm just paraphrasing, but I used to make, you know, those alternate future of Europe kind of videos. I used to make those. There's some that are still unlisted, some that are completely privated. But I used to do that under the username of Leodensian, which, you know, means from Leeds. So when I say the words, that's me,
That's me.
I'm literally saying that, like, you know, at the time I was making this video, I was under the assumption that the channel name would be Leodensian. That got changed somewhere in, I don't know, somewhere around the halfway point in making this video, when my lovely friend Tom, the same one who shows up in the British accent video with his lovely, lovely, lovely southwestern voice, was like, you should not call it that. You know, that's a bad name. And I already had the username Embur. Embur is a username that is pretty unique to me in terms of how it's spelt. You know, its meaning I won't spoil right now, but it's... if I was anyone else, I wouldn't have that username. So I kept the name Embur for this channel, and the rest is history. I never ended up using the name Leodensian for this, and probably for the best, because it's a very long word and no one knows how to pronounce it. Something I never mention, come to think of it, that greatly annoys me in hindsight, is not once do I mention Chumbawamba. I don't once mention Tubthumping. Acclaimed song about getting knocked down and getting back up again. And you're never going to keep me down. That is from Leeds. That is by a band partly from Leeds, about a situation that happened in a pub in northeast Leeds called the Ford Green. And its lyrics are pasted on the big Leeds, West Yorkshire playhouse. Like, the moment you enter the city centre, you are greeted by those words in big red text. And I never once mentioned it in the video. I never once mentioned Tubthumping. So this is my obligatory Tubthumping mention. Tubthumping is a Leeds song. It is a Leeds anthem. You better remember that.
So you're a Leeds fan?
I've encountered people in the wild who have sort of known this channel. Like, not a ton. But I've encountered people in the wild who are familiar with what I do and have seen this video. And I've almost Streisand affected myself into having people ask me if I'm a Leeds fan because I brought it up that it, slightly irks me. So I'm cursed to live in this hell where I'm constantly asked if I am a supporter of Leeds United Football Club for the rest of my life. Hopefully not. That comment, the Elon Musk thing, was genuinely one of the reasons one of the catalysts for me writing that script, recording this video, because I sort of saw that and was like, I need to teach people. I need to teach people that my city exists and what it is, where it is, and about it. I need people to know this so that funny Twitter man Elon Musk will never say that again. Will never make that mistake again, and no one will make that mistake again. Leeds Castle is not in Leeds. One day we will rightfully pick it up and take it back home where it belongs. But for now, Leeds Castle is in Kent, in the southeast of England. Closer to France than it is to Leeds. Maybe one day, I'm sure, funny Twitter man, funny X.com man Elon Musk will watch this video and think, God, I'm so sorry, City of Leeds. I'm so sorry, Leeds Museums and Galleries. I'll never make this mistake again, I promise.
Fast-flowing river.
If you play as a Celtic nation in Crusader Kings 3 and conquer the West Riding of Yorkshire, that is what the city will be called.
Animals sanctuary.
This drawing is a bit of a personal self-reference to I was playing Galactic Phone with some friends in a Discord server back a few months before I was making this video, where I don't remember the context. Someone asked me to make I was told to draw some really raunchy thing that I actively refused to draw. And so I'll throw it up on the screen. I drew like a sort of little M with the, like, a big, you know, leaning over a thing that's got, "I'm not drawing this," written in, like, big text. Of course, this is a lot more cleaned up. It's probably, it's a very similar image. But I wanted to do that. I thought it would be funny. That's my sort of modus operandi with a lot of this channel, with a lot of the slides, with a lot of what you all see, is I personally think it's funny. I write these for me.
Drive. He's under the name Leodensian.
I was clearly still trying to get the art style down with what I've done there. Like, I've got the sort of, like, I was trying to go for something very moe, very chibi, very anime. Probably the main inspiration for the art style of this channel is the works of manga author Arai Kaiichi, who you might know for being the author of the manga Nichijou, as well as City, which I believe is his current manga, where they've sort of gotten the little, you know, the little pointy face and minimal facial features aside from the eyes and the mouth and maybe a little nose. I was trying to go for something like that because I love that kind of art style. I love Nichijou, I love Arai Kaiichi. I wanted to try and emulate that, and I guess I don't know, I think I do it better than I did then, with this like Phineas nose that I've got going on. I don't like it. This was the first bit written for the channel, actually. When I was making the Leeds video, I knew about all of these names. I knew a lot of the information beforehand. This is really just 18 minutes of me info dumping. I wanted to put this joke in. I was going to have the little weird looking Leeds balls over the names of all the different names. It's like Snitterton, yeah, no, that was a place that is gone now. The music is a cover of the song Celestial Elixir by the band Haken, who I love very, very, very much. They are a very good band. They're a metal band from London. I love their music more than I could describe in words, and I wanted to use... They have a song called Celestial Elixir on their first album that is 18 minutes long, I think, that has a section in the middle that's this very ragtime, very sort of tongue-in-cheek section. And I wanted to use that bit for this sort of, you know, tongue-in-cheek, oh, look at all these failed attempts at making a Leeds. Isn't that silly? Isn't that silly? I wanted to do a thing with that. And of course, to avoid getting, you know, copy struck on youtube.com, I used a cover, an 8-bit cover by Adam Gould, I think. Someone on the internet. I will put their name on screen if I am not correct. I think it's Adam Gould. I know Adam Gould does the 8-bit Hakens. It might be someone else, though. I genuinely...
The main of the Elixir family. Centered in the nearby
that right there, my friends, is the first reference on this channel to another anime that I greatly enjoy, called Girls Last Tour. It is an anime about two girls travelling through a post-apocalypse in a German tank bike, the Kettlecrad. I'm sure some of you out there are more familiar with German military equipment than I am, but that is an anime that I had recently watched when I was making this, and I really enjoyed it, and I still really enjoy it. It's something that I watch that I go back and watch every year or so. And I had recently watched it, and I wanted to reference it. There's a few more references to this anime, and I will point them out. There's one of the main characters does a little like side eye, and that's one of the sort of things they're known for. And I decided to put that in this frame for some reason. I can see what I was trying to go for here. I was trying to go for a sort of EU4 Europa Universalis kind of battle-like thing where it's got the little shields and the little numbers in blue. I was trying to go for that kind of thing, but I feel like in hindsight, if I was doing this now, I probably would have gone into EU4 myself, or probably Crusader Kings. I probably would have gone into Crusader Kings and just recreated this myself, because some of you in my audience really care about Middleton Railway more than you should. This is true, by the way. I know some people who... I know a guy who is probably going to watch this. Hello, a friend of mine from Australia, who the moment I think I mentioned I was from Leeds was immediately like, "Oh, have you been to Middleton Railway?" And it was a bit of a jump scare, because yeah, I've been to Middleton Railway. It's the kind of place that you go as a kid. Like, they take you there on like a school trip when you're like 5, but that was the first time I learned it was a big deal to anyone outside of, Middleton. But no, shout outs to my beloved Australian friend for caring about Middleton Railway. The mixing is so bad. This is a minor thing. I know I'm nitpicking a little. Oh no, people have complained about this before. The music's so bloody loud. I didn't know how to mix properly at that point. I didn't know how to mix I knew how to, but I didn't know what was good. So the audios are really, really, really loud for some reason. And I've ignored it for most of this, but with this section, it's really, really annoying. I'd like to give a shout out to the city of Sheffield again for effectively acting as a shield, acting as fodder for the city of Leeds. Because, of course, when the Germans would come and fly up to bomb the factories, the munitions plants, they only had so much, they only had so much ammunition, they only had so much fuel. So, of course, they would go for Sheffield, where all the steel was being made, as opposed to Leeds, where they were making literally everything else. So they would just drop their bomb on Sheffield and go back, leaving our lovely little Leeds, so I say, perfectly intact, aside from Crossflats Park in Beeston in South Leeds, which is, again, where the background image is taken. It's not a very nice area.
Beeston looks like, you'll know that very little of value was lost. Unfortunately, things would become wrong.
There it is again, Girls Last Tour. That's the same thing. That's the German tank back. I'm pretty sure I did just trace the cover art for the anime, like the DVD box for this frame. It's a very good frame. It was the first frame ever made for the channel, actually. I drew this before I made anything else for the Leeds video. It was done in about 4 hours, I think. And again, my lovely friend Tom told me at the time that should have been the thumbnail. This image should have been the thumbnail of the video. And I think in hindsight, I think it certainly would have made a good thumbnail for a video. I just don't know if it would have made a good thumbnail for this video. I'm sure some of you probably are biased, because the only thumbnail you've known is this one. So maybe I'll use this as a thumbnail for something. Maybe I'll use it as a thumbnail for this one. I don't know. You'll soon find out.
Rather bleak little housing project.
I love this picture, by the way. That picture right there is genuinely one of my favourite images of Leeds. One of my favourite, probably my single favourite photo of Leeds. Because, those flats in the background, a big wall of black. There's close to no trace of that anymore. Everything there has been rebuilt and redone. The big city college is there. That playhouse that has the chorus of Tubthumping pasted upon it, that's in Quarry Hill. The BBC building in Leeds is in Quarry Hill. There's so much in Quarry Hill that you would never be able to tell that, it was all just one big wall of flats at any point. Yeah, everything else in the image looks almost identical to how it does today. If you stand on that point in Eastgate in Leeds, everything else looks, normal. That's how it is. That's how it's always been since. But those flats are gone, and there's no trace of them. It's like looking into a Leeds that was a Leeds that could have been. And I think it's beautiful. I know I'm probably the only person in the world that, you know, cares that much about this image, but I hope that you see my vision for it, was why I like it so much. This is another one of those cases where I made a reference for me rather than anyone else. Like, you see the only man among us with enough courage and true grit to save our Steander from the fires we lit. That is a reference to... It's a song called Inertia and the Weapon of the War on the album In Contact by Caligula's Horse, a band that I went to go and see live literally the other day. I was going to write... my friend Tom, again, who had a very big input in the early days of this channel, saw that and was like, you know, this is too specific. There was no need for that. But I originally had a line written that was very similar. Like, the only word that's changed in that from the actual song is the word stories is replaced with, you know, the name Steander. I think it's stories. I don't know, you'll have to go and listen to In Contact. It's a very good album. It's a very, very good album. But I wrote something that was very, very similar, and I sort of realised in my head that, oh, this is like Caligula's Horse. And so I decided to just do the bit. That's how I work with this channel. That's a lot of how I work, is I think, oh, I find this funny. I'm gonna make this joke. So I'm sorry if, you know, none of you will get all of these references that I put. None of you will get all of the in-jokes, all of the little jokes that I put in. And that's fine, in my opinion. That's completely fine. Oh my god, did I use bloody Voyager? The music. The music in this section is, it's a song called Voyager, not to be confused with the band Voyager that I talked about in the Eurovision video, a different band. This is the song Voyager by the band Big Big Train. They are a English prog rock band who talk a lot about England, who talk a lot about English nature, and a bit of English history. And they're kind of like if the Embur channel was a band, was a band, like, very light-hearted, very English, very pastoral, very historic, sort of. And I use one of their songs. Quite ironically, one of their only songs from that sort of period that wasn't about England. It's about going to the moon. Again, would recommend a listen. The album Grand Tour by Big Big Train that this song is from, that I so sneakily used an AI-made instrumental for. Did you recognise these guys in the Eurovision video? Yeah, no, I like having recurring little characters, and I decided to bring those guys back for the Eurovision video. I'm sure you'll see more little recurring contributions in the future. Hopefully, I want to reuse the troubadours again at some point from the Occitania video, the little Dream Theater Occitanians. I love references. I love referential humor. Referential humor is so good. I love being able to acknowledge things that I like, things that I enjoy. You know, the things that came before me. Although for all the referencing I do, I think one of the things I could do with the referencing is my bloody sources in future. I'm trying my best to work on that. Thank you all for joining me on that. It's been a while since you know that, since I last watched, and it's kind of nice to go back. It's a very rough video. It's not my favourite by any means. It's honestly one of the worst in my opinion, but you know, this is where it all began. This video is the reason that you're all here. This is the reason I started making this channel. It's the seminal moment where, you know, this channel began. And I think it's important to recognise that at least. So I thank all of you for taking the time to sit through, god, how long is this? Like, well, we're up to 50 minutes in the recording. I'm gonna cut a lot of this out. And now that we're done, I am gonna save you all from me rambling, unscripted, and I hope to join you again in whatever next video I make, probably the Norway video. I'm gonna probably do something like this for every video in the future, for the patrons. You know, all of you lovely people who give me money. Those of you who don't, I love you all, don't get me wrong, you are all very, very lovely. If I ever run into you on the street or anywhere, you are owed one free hug from me, personally. And then this feels like patron material from in the future. A sort of post-video retrospective. But as I say, I will save you all from me rambling, and I will leave you on your merry way. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sitting with me for 40 minutes on whatever day you're watching this. But until then, stay vigilant out there, folks.